Well, hello, Quest. It's good to see you. I hope you're doing well. In this video newsletter for today, what I'd like to just touch on is as we entering into this Easter season, there's a kind of a narrative, a story that's being unfolded in all of that. And it goes from both the very specific, but it starts in a very general, but it's kind of a narrative, or maybe what you could call in modern day terminology, the meta narrative, the big narrative that's going on. And I think it applies here to Easter. And maybe worth thinking through, or maybe grabbing onto, or maybe it helps you kind of walk through this particular season. And there's really four pieces to it. There is creation, there's the fall, there's resurrection, and there's restoration in all of that. And really it happens in our lives. And so more than just an academic or kind of a by-the-book four-piece narrative, I think there's a reality that it becomes very personal, deep down in who we are. And so if it starts with creation, that it really addresses the issues that we struggle with. Of who am I, where do I come from, why am I here, what's going on. And the reality is if there's no God and no creation, then we're an accident. And hopefully we could see it as a great accident, this amazing accident, or it could really be read as there's nothing inherently valuable about mankind. It's an accident. We're an accident. But we believe that really you and I were created by God, and that He has a design for us and for the world and for all who He has. He created the world and everything in it and all the different pieces of it, and He also created mankind. And He gave mankind this amazing thing that He breathed life into us, that we're the only ones who are made in His image. Mankind, every person that's ever existed. And we don't even know how many billion that is. Let's say 20 billion people in all of history that He has designed. And every one of us is a little different and very unique by God's design. And it's a compassionate design. It's an intentional design. It's an engaged design that God designed. He created the world. And then part of that narrative is the fallenness, the brokenness of mankind. Started with Adam and Eve, but it continues with every person. It continues with my life. The brokenness, the fall, that we don't live life the way it was really designed to be. And then we've made up all sorts of ways to live to try to get around it and put it and make us the center of the universe, when God is actually the center of the universe and His beauty. And so this fall, though, that we have, and you can just see, and I've just been aware more recently of all the different pieces of the fall and all the sadness that comes with that, all the brokenness that comes with that, at so many levels, in so many ways. And it's really actually heartbreaking. It makes your heart ache for the brokenness of people's lives. And so we have creation, but we have this fall. And there's this need to somehow rise above that and to have it not totally define or destroy us. And so there's this issue of not only creation and the fall, but of the resurrection, to somehow have life come out of death. And we need that life. And really, as we enter into Easter, it's about the resurrection of Christ. That He took on death for us. He took on my brokenness for me. And He paid the ultimate price. And then 3 days later, He was resurrected from the dead, defeating the very thing I could never defeat on my own, and that being death itself, the final enemy of each one of us. Isn't that the truth? We're all headed for death. It's a really painful reality, but it's true. And Christ defeated that death for each one of us. And then not only does He defeat it, but He restores us. There's a restoration piece. He restores us to what life was supposed to be. And that's the process of walking with God, that He's restoring us. in building us and making us more like his son. And not because we could do it on our own. We needed him to do it, to restore us. And so this meta-narrative that we engage every day, but maybe here at Easter time, the season, as we remember God's creation, we remember the fall and the reality of the brokenness of mankind. And then we engage the resurrection that Christ did for us and that someday we'll be resurrected too. But he restores us in the process. It's kind of the story of life. It's applicable to every human being on planet Earth in every place. And so we have the privilege of engaging this story that is not fulfilled in any other worldview, only as God has unfolded his love for us and revealed it in such incredible way in the person of Christ. And that's why we make him the core of our lives, right? All right. I love you guys. May God's story be written in your life of creation, fall, resurrection, and restoration. Okay? All right. We'll look forward to seeing you. Love you guys.